Taronga. We are proud to make some efforts in following in their footsteps today. And we thought, what better way to show off some of Australia's unique wildlife than getting the show kicked off on a high note with probably one of our most iconic groups of birds, and that is the parrots. And we've got beautiful, stunning creatures, just like this one here. Now this is a female red-tailed cockatoo, a girl called Kajandi, and we know she's a girl from all the lovely yellow flecks across her black body, whereas the males tend to look a little bit different. They tend to be more solid black with a fiery red tail. Now this is actually Geary, and Geary means red, and as you see that flash of colour, you ready? As he flies across the tops of your heads. Now the past 100 years, animals around the world have seen some significant challenges. Some, like these sulphurs, have been able to flourish, but most have not. Almost all the black cockatoos from southern Australia are facing serious risks of extinction. Now we've often chopped down their homes to build our own, haven't valued their resources. In particular, this is nesting sites. You can take a tree well over 100 years to start producing hollows that a bird like Geary requires for raising his young. And if we chop down all the dead trees for firewood, don't let the next generation of trees get old enough to produce hollows. These birds will continue to follow pressures into their future. But we do know it's very much a reversible trend. We can start to protect their homes, put up artificial nest sites in the short term, and these go a long way to making sure that birds like Geary have a very long future to fly into. And protecting hollows for Geary will not just benefit him, because we all know that possums use hollows, but so do things like snakes and goannas, ducks, and my favourite group of nocturnal predators, the owls. Owls have incredible nighttime vision, but for many of them, well, in fact, close to half of all the world's owls regularly hunt in daylight hours. And this is something that surprises a lot of people. One owl in Australia, more than any other, loves a good bit of daytime hunting, and it's this bird, the barking owl. This barking owl's name is Ripley, and you're going to get a good look at him too as he flies very close to the tops of your heads. If you stay nice and still, remember to keep your hands down, and you'll get to appreciate how fast and powerful this owl is. And the reason that he's out in the day is he likes to eat other birds. So he'll sit, wait and watch, and when he sees something that makes a good meal, it's his job to get there in one big hurry. Now it really pays to be fast when you're a bird hunter. For other birds, well, those other birds can be extremely hard to catch. And it's not just small ones he's after, he's a powerful predator. Kookaburras, frogmouths, cockatoos as big as Geary can all feature on the menu. Now if you have a good look at Ripley's eyes as he comes past, but they are enormous. And if you and I had eyes as large as his, they'd be about the size of softballs on the front of our faces. You can see the local gulls have come in. Now these gulls are not being particularly brave, they're just being good parents. They do know that this is a predatory creature. Their chicks are very vulnerable and upon the ground. So their whole job is to be as annoying as possible, and if they do a good job, barking owl leaves, their kids are safe. Definitely doesn't pay to encourage someone in your neighbourhood who eats your children. Now as you have a good look at a barking owl, you'll see those huge eyes and powerful feet, and that enables her to tackle a huge variety of prey, from rabbits and possums, insects and pest creatures like rats and mice. And I think if you wanted to form a rodent control at home, you'd have to admit this is about the best looking rat trap you could hope to see. So thanks for that, Claude, and thanks Ripley. Can't stress how important predators are when it comes to controlling pest creatures. When the show first started almost 20 years ago, we had an enormous problem with rats. They literally could be seen running all over the place, but you'd be happy to know that the owls moved in, the rats, well, they moved out. And although it's happening a bit slow today, we can really say that that problem is behind us. Yeah, I think they're moving a bit. Let's give them another bit of a chance. Over in this corner, if you keep your eyes open, you'll see some little chaps. They're being a bit cautious today. Maybe it's the sound of the gulls they don't trust. We don't get the gulls here every day, so as a prey species, rats really are quite cautious. They really pays to be. A cautious animal does get to live another day. And as you can see, the gulls probably even see those rats. It's concerned because they're great nest thieves, taking eggs and baby birds as they find them. Pretty much everywhere rats have moved in, creatures have suffered in some degree. Islands are really hit the worst. But we've got one more. I think this is Erin. Off you go. Yeah. And rats are really significant creatures, really successful, and probably one of the most common mammals that you'll find in the world. Thanks, my friend. And a whole array of creatures, as we said, rely upon them as food. But with our next guest, she's not relying so much upon her vision to find them, but her hearing. In fact, she can listen for food and catch it without ever seeing it at all. Now, on this little recording here, over the calls of some favourite owl food, it's actually some frogs, and we're going to see if our owl can find it just through listening alone. And so he doesn't know where it is. I'm going to ask the help of this young lady down the front here. Can I just ask your name? Aravis? Aravis, now I need you to decide where I'm hiding this today. We have two choices, a rock's either side of the stage, so which one do you like to look at? Thank you very much, Aravis. Everyone give her a big round of applause. So we popped this behind Aravis's rock, and the owl we're bringing out for you is considered to be the most common owl in the world, known as the barn owl. And the barn owl's name is Marion. She'll be coming from up behind your heads back there any moment now, so let's see how she goes. Yeah, knew exactly where your food was hidden, Aravis, didn't she? Now, if you have a good look at Marion, you'll know she has a very distinct shape to her face. That heart or disc-like shape actually traps sound and channels it to very big ears that are hidden underneath the feathers. They're not just big, they're slightly lopsided. Once ear sits slightly forward of the other, and it's the subtle differences in the way that it makes the sound arrive that helps them to pinpoint exactly where their prey is hiding. Now, what you may have also noticed was just how quietly she flew. And silence is so important for an owl that listens for its meal, for if its prey moves, you have a good chance of hearing it happen. You can make adjustments and still catch yourself a meal. So what I want you guys to do over here is listen out for yourselves, see if you hear anything at all as Marion heads on home. It's pretty quiet, isn't it? So we have 5 different types of owls right here in Sydney, but we don't tend to see them all that often because owls are so shy and secretive, but there are some other birds I'm sure you know at first sight. It includes the pink and grey guys and the galahs. This is our galah, his name is Jojo, and Jojo too needs someone's help, this time someone with some money. A $1 or $2 coin, if you have it, just hold it on up, let me see you've got it, we'll get you to give us a hand. You see a couple of people starting to fish around their pockets. Oh, I'll tell you, the young gentleman here, oh, it's a young lady, I believe. If you wouldn't mind standing up on your seat for me so you're really tall. Perfect. Hold that coin, thumb and finger, and then hold it straight to your side. That's perfect. We're going to send Jojo on up there. Stay nice and still, just going to grab your coin, bring it back to place it in my pockets. Thanks, Jojo, and thank you very much. Okay, who else would like to give it a go? We are looking for something a bit trickier, kids, so I want you to go back to Mum and Dad, see who's got 20 bucks. And start coming down. Well, lucky for you all, we are only joking. In fact, we're going to return the young lady's coin. If I could get you to stand up with me one last time, this time hold your hand nice and flat. Can I get you up on your seat just so you're a bit easier to find for the bird? That's brilliant. Hold your hand nice and flat, palm up, and we'll give the money back to Jojo, who'll come and place it. Where he found it. Now, I must admit, one of the best things about working at a place like Taronga is the opportunity to make a genuine difference of lives of the animals, not just in our care, but those in the wild. And one of those animals we've been helping for over 10 years now is this beautiful bird. And this is a Regent honeyeater. Now, these birds once numbered in their tens of thousands. There's now believed to be only about 500 of them left in the wild. Over a quarter of those were actually bred and released from Taronga. Now, if you want to help us out in our efforts, you can come down at the end of the show knowing any cent, dollar note goes in there will go to help wildlife. Not just these honeyeaters, but even creatures from around the world. And for anyone who does donate $5 or more, we've made a badge to say thanks, but also to show that you too have been for the wild. Now, the galah might have that reputation for being just a little bit comical, but I think some of our least known birds have some of the more interesting of behaviours. In fact, there's a hawk that came to the attention of Europeans, all because of emu eggs, because it was claimed it was getting inside. And it was this beautiful bird that was given that credit to fame. It's known as the black-breasted buzzard, Australia's 3rd largest member of the hawk family. And they have that very distinguishable patterning under their wings. It's going to hopefully cruise over the top of your heads. Oh, let's just double back this way. And this lovely young man, his name is Waru. He is a 17-year-old male. And these birds are predominantly found out in the more arid portions of the country. Now, a lot of people look up and think this bird is going to be a wedge-tailed eagle, but the distinct white windows that you see towards the end of each wing tells you exactly what this beautiful bird is. Yeah, the gulls are pushing down low. Now, they can see he's having a few challenges in those conditions, and he's landed all the way down the bottom, guys, right down underneath where that little waterfall sometimes occurs. Now, in the training world, we call this a controlled situation, and it means that Waru's in complete control. Now, right now, he's going to probably wait for someone to go get him, I would imagine, because the conditions on this side of the hill just aren't suitable for getting easy lift. And lift is what it's all about. If an aeroplane tried to take off with the wind behind it, it would do a very bad job. So it's really important to have your runways in different directions. Now, for us today, the wind is actually all the way down the bottom, Brendan. Yeah, just directly beneath you, but all the way down. So what the big birds rely upon is flying on the side of the hill the wind blows into, and this is what creates the lift. And if you've ever been somewhere where hang glider pilots or people with their parachutes are jumping off the cliff, you'll see that they're ribbons. They want to know that they're going directly into that breeze, or there's just no point doing it. So, oh, well, Ruth, thanks for coming back. Yeah, boy, very appreciated. Now, when he put up against the egg, you can see he's still not able to get in there, but with the help of a tool that Mother Nature provided, he can, and it's just a rock. Yeah, boy. Now, this is an instinctual behaviour. It's not something he ever had to learn. The very first time he saw an egg, he looked for a rock and started smashing it on open, and Inu eggs are not always that easy to get into, and this can take quite a deal of persistence. And if Waru had to figure this out, yeah, I know, the gulls are still here. For himself, he could have got disheartened, even given up trying altogether. But Mother Nature says, don't grab your rock, just keep on trying. Can you give it a shot? Because eventually you will be successful. Oh, not that way. But an egg of this size, the rewards will be very large indeed. In fact, there is close to a dozen chicken eggs worth of food inside every Inu egg. So for a 1,200 gram hawk, that's it. That sounded better. That is an enormous meal. How are we going? Oh, another good shot. Success is there. Now he's put a nice big crack in the side. He'll try and pry that on open to get to the contents. If he can eat it through the little window he creates, he doesn't run the risk of most of the contents sort of getting muddied and spilled upon the ground. And he probably really couldn't even consume the whole egg in one sitting. But this is a fantastic meal. Now it is a bit of a messy meal. And if you look carefully, particularly those of you towards the front, you'll notice that just behind his beak, towards his eye, it's got a lot of bare skin. And this is because this is a messy way. And skin is much easier to keep clean than those feathers, but you've done a great job, Waru. I'll one more for good measure. That's it. When you're ready, just take yourself on home. You ready? I know, you're a bit puffed now. You worked the hard way up the hill. Atta boy. He is a fantastic little creature in my mind. And if you spend any time around Alice Springs, particularly after a good wet season, they don't have a wet season, but if they have the good rain, they're definitely a bird that breeds down the rivers there, which is pretty spectacular to see. Now, when they're not out there hunting things like eggs, they spend a fair chunk of their lives scavenging. But I would say the most famous of the avian scavengers are the vultures. The vultures get a lot of bad press, so people think they're unattractive. Other people think that those very bald heads, they're not the best thing there. Some cultures even find them evil. But that's not generally the case. In fact, in some cultures, they're so important, they even believe to have huge significance in their daily lives, like helping travel the sun across the sky. In fact, the ancient Incas thought this was done on the wings of one of the world's largest flying birds, known as the Andean condor. Cast your eyes up this way, and you'll see on a 3-metre wingspan. Now straight away you can see that she is a vulture. She has that relatively naked head and neck that she shares with many of her relatives. Now this is not there for us to judge her appearance by. It actually keeps her very clean and healthy. Now she'll stick her head all the way deep in the belly of a large dead animal. When she pulls it out, it often brings with it all kinds of blood and guts and debris. But just like Slammer, dries on that skin, rub it on the rock, flakes on off, she gets to stay very clean and healthy. So in my mind, this is nature's ultimate recycler. Feeding upon the bodies of animals that have died helps prevent the spread of disease that would occur. It just left to rot. So thanks for your help, my friend. She knows where she's heading. Now, vultures definitely are worth a change of press because many species have disappeared by over 99% in the past 10 years throughout parts of India, Africa, disappearing at such an alarming rate that diseases that impact on us are on the increase, like anthrax and rabies. And with the global world we have today, that would be easier to travel from one country to another. So you can see they have a pivotal role to play within nature, but we all have our parts to play. And Fitzroy would like to remind us of one of those, and it's an incredibly simple thing. He just wishes, rather than walk past litter when we see it, that we would just pick it on up and make sure it ended in the nearest bin. Thanks, Fitz. It is an incredibly simple thing to do that goes a long way to help ensuring the future of so many creatures that we'll share this planet with. You know, the last 100 years we've seen an awful lot of change. I'm really optimistic though for some of the choices that we can make for that next 100 that'll benefit beautiful birds like these black cockatoos. Now, I'd like to leave you just with one final thought, and that's just whenever you're out and about in this beautiful country of ours, don't forget to take some time and keep looking on up, because you never know what beautiful birds could be flying right over the tops of your head. Staff, the birds and the staff, thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions, come on down and ask. If you'd like to make a donation, Ray will be heading over there. Just wait. Otherwise, thanks for coming, everyone. Hope to see you next time. See you later.
Okay. Naar achteren gaan.